Do you ever wonder what is intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number? The traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community. A community not part of the mainstream, unconventional, peripheral, or extreme. Part of an anthology, a published collection of poems or other pieces of writing. This is Esoteric Lore. I'm your host, Edward Aponte, where I push you to ponder the fringes of folklore. Algorithm. Algorithm is a silo that most of us were born into. I wasn't. At the time of this recording, I'm 56 years old, and I remember a time without the internet, a time when there was no Google. We were not trapped in this alley of algorithm where we are all funneled in and given some information. An information that is tailor-made for us. Now, some people might say that sounds great. It's a great service for the algorithms to give us things that we like. They profile us and send us in these directional links to pursue information, some that we already like, some information that we already bias towards. But what if you lived outside of the algorithm spectrum? I recall a time like that when you can go to the library. You had the freedom to search, the freedom to research, the freedom to expand your horizon. Algorithm can be a very dangerous alley to go down. The walls can be high enough that it prevents the right kind of information. There may be alleys of algorithms where only the wrong kind of information funnels in, and you're trapped in this dark and dangerous alley of misinformation. So how do you break through this cycle, this alley of algorithms where you know there has to be something more to this? How do you claw yourself out of that narrow silo where you're just being fed BS? BS receptivity, as mentioned in our podcast on discernment, is a real thing. When you meditate, you break out of that algorithm alley where you are. Everything is curated for you, tailor-made for your likes and biases. But that limits your human experience. What if you could expand your horizon? What if you could be more than just a marketing data point, which the algorithm gods have pretty much narrowed humans to just a marketing data point? For some, as I said, it could be a great service. But there needs to be a balance. What if you want to expand your horizon? Get a second opinion. Become more informed about something that's out of your, if you will, algorithm silo. Whether it's politically, religiously, emotionally. You have to be able to break out of this silo. So with the advent of computers, we've narrowed down our worldview almost where we are not able to exercise freedom of thought, independent thinking. These are all mindfulness disciplines that are rarely talked about, where you're able to not just think outside of the box, but want to explore the maker of the box itself. The big questions. While AI and algorithms are going to be exponentially expanding their power and influence, we have to take a step back and mindfully discern who's leading who. Are we being brainwashed, led down a mindless, thoughtless, discerningless alley where everything is served on a silver platter? Let's talk about algorithm as not just something that is a useful tool, but just as a tool. Not the end all, but as a tool. How do we expand our way of thinking to explore beyond our curated algorithms, our tailor-made algorithms for us? Have you gone outside of your comfort zone, if you will, algorithmically? Can you do that? That's the challenge of this episode. See what the other side is viewing. See what other links the others, to use that term loosely, are receiving. It might just surprise you and make you a better human being to be able to be aware of options, to be aware of, let's say, other views, other viewpoints that might be disconcerting, viewpoints that might be different, but being able to at least understand others' worldview. Algorithms can dangerously impact your worldview by narrowing it to the point where it strangles your ability to investigate, discern, and personal exploration. Try to remember a time when there was no algorithm. If you're old enough, you know that time. See if you could recapture those mental disciplines that you had for, let's say, crossword puzzles, word games, mental thought experiments, without the use of Google or any sort of algorithm. When was the last time you had an independent, a truly independent thought? Just from the deepest recesses of your mind, memory, subconscious. Not AI generated, not Google searched response, not an algorithmic answer, just a genuine independent thought. The problem with algorithms, in one word, is control. And for a person who's free-spirited, who wants independent thought, analysis. Algorithms can be crippling, but you can use algorithms for your benefit. You can use algorithms as a tool for growth and exploration, not just a tool to confirm your belief system. That's when the impact on personal knowledge, expanding your worldview, becomes limited. Anemic. When you're just being curated the same old, doesn't it get tiring sometimes when you open your Facebook or your favorite social media sites and everything you have is stuff that you find yourself nodding in agreement? That's not personal growth. That's a captivated mind. You are stuck in that, if you will, silo. You're stuck in that algorithmic alley. Let's do a meditation. I want you to close your eyes and picture yourself, visualize yourself walking down a long corridor, an alley. The alley represents your algorithmic internet stream of consciousness. As you look up, there's billboards, your familiar billboards. Maybe it's your sports ticker, your favorite team, your political inclinations, breaking news. You see these billboards as you walk down the alley of algorithm that's been curated for you. You've already lived in this. It's a familiar neighborhood, but I want you to use this meditation as a thought experiment. Are you allowed to perceive, picture other things? Things that are not just your normal, everyday, curated, algorithmic, daily supply of the internet. Something more that expands your curiosity. Maybe another country. Maybe the environment. Maybe science. Allow your alley of algorithm to expand. To have billboards that are different. That lead to different and more awareness on topics that you might not even have thought about. Meditate on expanding your algorithmic alley so that your worldview is not narrower but grander, larger, more inclusive. Now, each of these words might feel uncomfortable because people like comfort, familiarity. And when you break out of your algorithmic alley, you take risks. But that's part of exploration. Exploring the thought process of others, the rationale, the worldviews, the inclinations, the impulses. All that is possible when you break out of your algorithmic alley. When you're able to visualize yourself and meditate yourself walking out into, as you walk out of an alley into a giant intersection with cross streets and traffic. It feels overwhelming. It might even feel like you want to crawl back into your nice narrow algorithmic alley and not venture into the vastness of information. The information superhighway is there for you to explore, to venture off, to get off on off-ramps and venture out and explore the nooks and crannies of other worldviews. The information highway is never meant to find us, trap us in our cul-de-sac You know you're in an algorithmic cul-de-sac when you find yourself no longer being challenged. When was the last time you were challenged? An opinion, a worldview, a proposition. When was the last time you were really challenged? Or has everything been going smoothly? You believe the right things. You find yourself agreeing, liking. All those algorithmic thumbs ups, all those likes, all those clicks, they reinforce a sense of abandonment. A sense of abandoning these mental disciplines of discernment, curiosity, probabilities, that when you get caught in this cul-de-sac of algorithm, it's hard to expand, to get out. You find yourself literally going in circles. The way to break out of that cul-de-sac of algorithm is to challenge your worldview. Challenge your worldview. Read a new book. Go watch a speech. Go listen or watch a documentary. Listen or watch a podcast. Not a podcast that you are familiar with and know the creators, but something that you wouldn't in 1,000 years thought you'd be listening, watching, or reading. Challenge yourself to get out of the cul-de-sac of narrow algorithms. So are algorithms bad or good? Algorithms are neither. Algorithms are what you make it. Algorithms can be limiting if you live in that algorithmic silo, cul-de-sac, alley that's narrow and narrower. If you watch, you monitor yourself, if you become introspective and realize, when was the last time I had a truly independent thought that shocked me, that challenged me? That's the key to using algorithm as a tool, not a trap. A tool to enhance, to better yourself and better your community. Algorithm is everywhere. It affects and influences everything we do, whether we are conscious or not. What we eat, what we wear, what we do, what we watch, who we live with, who we are, who we become, all has a slight, almost Frankenstein view of our mind. Algorithms are almost always marketing to our minds, trying to tweak us here or there. And the goal is for us to be aware of who is the Dr. Frankenstein. What is this algorithmic monster trying to fashion from us, create out of us? Those are the big, heady questions that we must consider as we live in this age of an increased, aggressive, some would say out of control algorithm, but algorithms feed on us, our responses, our acquiescence, our sharing. So be careful, be watchful. Use algorithms for good. Use algorithms as a tool to expand, to grow, not to shrink and narrow your worldview. Do you find yourself doing things online that if you were to take a step back and really process and think through it, am I doing this because this is something that I desire or want, or is this something that has been steadily, stealthily suggested by the algorithm gods? And now I find myself gleefully participating in events online, activities that I would have in 1,000 years never brought myself to. That's when you know the algorithms might have the upper hand on your decision-making process, how you live, move. What if I told you you are an algorithm, a truly independent, thinking, processing, feeling human being? It's just that you've usurped, acquiesced your right to be your own algorithm to the online companies, so that you don't really process. You are no longer your own gatekeeper. You trust Google, you trust Microsoft, you trust the algorithms to cater to you. Let's take back our algorithm responsibility. Let's think independently. Let's be the type of critical thinkers that push back on some algorithmic responses. Popular algorithmic models use the following tools: projection, affirmation, and visualization. What if I told you those 3 tools are available for you? Mindfulness is our own personal algorithmic model. We too, when we are truly mindful and, let's say, conducting a practice of meditation, we can visualize, project, and affirm our own algorithmic outcomes for us, for you. We'll take a break sometime from the popular algorithmic models that promote, visually, and affirm negatively the worst in us, and take a few minutes to meditate, to tap into your own algorithmic models of positive projection, healthy affirmation, and awe-inspiring visualization. Do that, and you start taking back control from the algorithmic gods. If you like this video, please subscribe, share, and give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.